Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Friend Shad Pearson. Welcome again to my channel. It is February 14th of 2025. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. I have 5:32 in the PM. People, let me say this from the outset. Today will be a day I'll always remember in my decoding. And this is the first time I've ever said this on YouTube. But between this video and the last video that I just did, in which I will show you right quick, Jonah, I am convinced that Britain, America, along with the Pope, the Antichrist, wants to start fresh. You got to read between the lines. I've said before, I can't say everything that I want to say, nor will I to anyone else. I will give you the strongest hint again. From today's video, Jonah, that I did earlier, and this video I'm going to show you here, I'm convinced that the Antichrist wants to start fresh in the Vatican, in America, and Britain. I don't know when, but I can tell you it's on the horizon. Now, the Pope is in the hospital today. And so this was my second and third clue. The first clue to what I was trying to tell you happened with the Jonah thing. And that was about Britain, more or less. But this one here, Donald Trump and the Pope. It appears to me that when the Pope went to France last year, and I covered that story, he set his fate for America and himself in relation to the sun god. You see, in order for this new world order to happen, it appears to me that the big ones, people, it's deep. I'm gonna show you the numbers. You tell me what you think.
Has now been admitted to hospital to receive treatment for bronchitis. The 88-year-old was diagnosed last week, but has still managed to continue with his duties. Shaman's here with me in the studio with more on this. He's 88, isn't he, Shaman? But he still managed to carry out his various audiences this morning and has now been admitted to the Gemelli Hospital in Rome for treatment.
That's right, yeah, and as you said, the Pope Francis is 88, but we do know that he had part of his lung removed when he was in his 20s whilst he was training to be a priest in Argentina. As we know, earlier in the month, he had also asked an aide to read out part of a prepared message, citing then that he was suffering from strong flu symptoms. The Vatican did later confirm that this was actually bronchitis, and it seems he may have been suffering from symptoms since then. Now, the Vatican have released a very short statement. It does confirm that he has been admitted to Gemelli hospitals for what they describe as necessary diagnostic tests and to continue his treatment for bronchitis. But as you say, Pope
Francis is in the hospital tonight, battling bronchitis that just won't go away. The pontiff told a crowd that he is mentally alert, but struggling to speak and breathe. He is 88 years old and considered high risk, not just because of his age, but because he spent most of his life without part of one of his lungs. Candles and flowers sit outside the Gemelli Hospital in Rome, where inside Pope Francis is being treated for bronchitis and a mild fever. This is video of the 88-year-old pontiff this morning, meeting with the Prime Minister of Slovakia before heading to the hospital. This afternoon, a Vatican spokesperson told reporters that the Pope is, quote, calm, in a good mood, and has read some newspapers. But people close to the Pope have been concerned. Earlier this week, Francis said he had trouble breathing as he addressed a general audience.
E chiedo al maestro di continuare la lettura per difficoltà nel respiro.
This is not the first time the Pope has battled bronchitis. Back in 2023, he spent 3 nights in the hospital with respiratory infections. He described that situation as a close call. In 2021, the Pope had a section of his large intestine removed.
Pope Francis admitted to hospital for bronchitis treatment. Cancels events for 3 days. So you guys got the news. You probably heard about it. It's big, people. And like I said, I had no idea I was going to run into some information today the way my decode came out. So let me show you. Here's the Pope's birthday, December 17th, 1936. And I put in the gematria calculator, bronchitis, George Mario Bergoglio. That's his real name. It came out to 165, and I was blown away. I was blown away. I put in bronchitis and the Pope's full name. It came out to 165. What is 165, Pearson? This man was born on the 165th day of the year. It appears to me that everything I've been teaching the last 4 years since I've been on this YouTube, they're tying it together, people. I don't see anything different. You'll see they're tying this thing together. Remember, the book of Revelation talks about a future false prophet. It talks about the man of sin. It talks about the kings. There might be some transformations going on in these areas is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, okay? And it appears to me the Antichrist wants his people in place. So expect some musical chairs. Watch this. Today is February 14th. I had to think about it. I'm like, well, Pearson, if his name and bronchitis comes out to 165, surely I got to investigate it because it's evidently it's tied to Trump. Let's see if it's true. So I remember today is Valentine's Day. Well, it's the 45th day of the, today is the 45th day of the year. And Trump was the 45th president. You take today's date, 2/14/2025, subtract it from 4/5, which is literally when Trump was 45th president. I subtracted from 45, and it come out to 50 days. And that's when it hit me. I had to literally stop decoding because I've been teaching you guys that 50 has been coming up a lot. We are the 50 states. The 50 states are about to change over, along with the leader. And to me, today, they're speaking to us, along with the Pope. Watch this. Today's date, 2/14/2025, verses 7/4. Why'd I do 7/4? America was founded July 4th, so why wouldn't I? The difference is what? 7/13. I was blown away by that. Because on July 13th, last year, Trump got hit in the ear in Butler, Pennsylvania. Remember that? So what are the odds? You take today's date, subtract it from July 4th. I had to do that. That's our foundation. Comes out the day that Trump got hit in the ear. Butler, Pennsylvania. And watch this here. Take 2/14/2025, that's today. Versus what? 12/17. That's the Pope's last birthday. 12/17. The difference is 84. And what is 84? Barack Obama was born August 4th. Many believe he's the Antichrist. It's deep. And watch this. 2/14/2025, subtracted from what? This 7/13 when Trump got hit in the ear. The difference is 2/16. What's the 216th day of the year? August 4th. Barack Obama was born August 4th. You see how all this is formatting? If he's the Antichrist, there's something brewing. Then watch this. Today's date, 2/14/2025, subtracted from the day that Trump got elected, 11/5/2024. The difference is 312. And what is 312? Well, guess what? That's how much Trump won by over Kamala Harris. Look at it again. Today's date, 2/14, versus election day. Like I said, it all started with Trump, so I'm putting everything in relation to Trump. 11/5 was the day that Trump got elected. The difference is what? How much he won by? 312 electoral college votes. Come on, man. It's about to get deeper because they're tied together. Watch, I'm going to show you how the Pope... Remember I did this video back in the day? When on May 24th of 2017, that's when Trump gave the Pope a lotus flower. Remember that? The lotus flower? It's deep. He gave him a lotus flower. What is a lotus flower? The lotus flower, out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. There's the lotus flower right there. Trump gave him a lotus flower. We're going to get into that. Here's today's date, 2/14/2025, versus the day that he gave him a lotus flower. The literal date was 5/24 of 2017. The difference, people, is 78 years. Seven years and 8 months. And how old is Trump? 78 years. Is that a coincidence? That now the Pope is in the hospital? Exactly 7 years and 8 months after he gave the man a lotus flower? Out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. Is the sun god Ra about to do some sacrificing? That's all I'm saying. Look at the numbers, 7-8. Trump is 78 years old. 7-8. Watch. Pope Francis arrives here. Remember, December 5th? What did Pope Francis do? Remember the video I did? He went to France. And what did he do? He went to France. Right? And he witnessed it. He witnessed everything. And that was the week that they banged on the door. Remember they banged on the door? Remember I told you if you bang on the door, you expect the answer. Did that set the fate for somebody? Remember that? I think this is the guy. No, that's not the guy who did it. Remember in France, they knocked on the door? I did a video on it. Right? In fact, not too long ago, the Pope knocked on the door too. He went through the door. Remember he did a celebration, went through the door? When did Pope Francis go through doors? December 26th. December 26th. I need to put that in the date too. December 26th. Remember, he went through doors he hadn't been through in a while. It's deep, y'all. This is deep. Now let me go a little bit deep here, a little bit further. This is when the Pope became the Pope. He got elected. 3/13 of 2013. All right. If you take, let me get all these dates together. On 12/15, that's when he went to France. And on 3/13, that's when he became the Pope. So 3/13/2025, bring up the date, versus 12/15/2024, he went to France. And they had that celebration of France that it was burnt up, opened back up. The difference is 88 days. What is Trump's text number? 88022. Are they twined? And look at this here. This is what really got me. Watch this here. Even though this says January 13th, you can Google it. On January 11th, this is when Pope Francis received the highest civilian award from Joe Biden. Watch this here.
The U.S. government awards the Pope the nation's highest civilian decoration, the Medal of Freedom with Distinction. This is the first time Joe Biden has conferred this honor in his 4 years in office. It was Biden who informed Pope Francis by telephone on the 11th of January, just after cancelling his trip to Italy.
11th of January, listen.
In his 4 years in office. It was Biden who informed Pope Francis by telephone on the 11th of January, just after cancelling his trip to Italy and the Vatican because of the fires in Los Angeles. According to the White House statement, the medal is for individuals who have made, for example, exemplary contributions to American prosperity or values, or efforts for peace. In fact, the government highlights Bergoglio's dedication.
Look at the dates. January 11th, 2025, Biden gave it to him, right? He gave him the Medal of Honor. He didn't physically give it to him. He called him on the phone, okay? The Pope. Joe Biden gave the Pope that medal. He called him by phone and gave it to him, right? And look at this. Today is 2/14, the day he got sick, bronchitis. That was exactly 4 weeks and 6 days ago. Wasn't Joe Biden the 46th president? People, you can just drop the mic, I'm telling you. And I've been telling y'all for years what 46 means. Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, he left the earth at 46 years old. George Floyd, George Orwell, and JFK left the planet at 46 years old. And look, 46 ain't nothing to play with. Exactly 4 weeks and 6 days ago, that's when he gave him that medal. Is that coincidence? Let's look at this this lotus flower that Trump gave the Pope back in 2017. Check it out. Check this out. Remember, I've been talking about 50 for a while. I've been showing it to you guys 50 for about a month. Watch this. The day that President Trump won was 11/5 of 2024. The day that they're going to open up these portals is 12/24, the pontiff. The difference, people, is 50 days. Come on. Remember I showed you the pontiff on 12/24, he went to those doors? The difference between Trump winning 11/5, 2024, and the day they opened up them, the pontiff went through them doors, was December 24th. The difference is 50 days. Didn't I just show you 50 a little while ago? Today's date versus what? 4/5. Trump is the 45th president. 50. Now do you see what I'm talking about? Are they twined? And it's the 50 states. It's deep, y'all. What's about to go down? Come on, man. That just had to be 50 days? From the time that Trump won to now? Why am I including Trump? I'll show you. I will show you. Back in the day, Donald Trump just gave the Pope a sculpture, and it's everything you thought it would be. This is the man, the artist, who made a lotus flower sculpture. And Trump took it to the Pope back in the day. I did a video on it. P-O-U-T-S loves the lotus, apparently. So much so he gave one of the Vatican. He gave one to the Vatican on Wednesday. President Trump, back in the day, 2017, y'all, May 24, 2017, accompanied by his wife, Melania, exchanged gifts with Pope Francis. Pope Francis gave the president a large medallion depicting an olive branch saying, quote, "I give this to you so that you can be an instrument of peace." Okay? And then he was an instrument of peace, because after that, that's when Biden gave him the award. Didn't see how it all comes together? Biden then gave him the award on 1/11. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Lotus flower. You know, you guys know I've been teaching that lotus. So that was from 2017. He gave him the lotus flower so he can be a man of peace. And then in January 11th of 2025, he got the medallion, man of peace. In Egyptian means what? Kamala. Because out of the lotus flower comes, well, lotus is Kamala, right? Out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. Let's get into it. Let's just get into it gradually, okay? Check it out. There's the lotus flower there. There's the Pope. There's Trump, and there's Melania. Now watch how I apparently tie this together. Watch this. To get you to understand what are you looking at. Stuart artist sculpture presented to Pope Francis. Back in the day, on May 24th of 2017, then President Trump, he met with the Pope, someone that some people believe that they were at odds. But to me, it's always a play to the public that they're polar opposites, but really they're not. I've said this before about how the powers, they give the impression in the public through the media that they're odds. This particular situation, whereas the Pope was like, why are you talking about building walls when you should be talking about building bridges? Now watch this here, watch this. I'm gonna get some learning here about this symbology of this thing. Watch this here. It's tied to the sun god. Okay? Now let's move forward. I'm gonna let you listen to a piece I found last night. This guy did this video 7 years ago. On point preparedness. Pope Francis and Donald Trump's meeting, bound by the devil's lotus flower. I'm putting this out there because I just want you guys to think. I want you to think. Now watch this here. I'm going to have this in different parts.
That one of the gifts that Donald Trump presented to Pope Francis was a bronze sculpture of the exact lotus species I was reading about 3 days earlier. Is it mere coincidence that of all the gifts that Donald Trump could present to Pope Francis, it would be one species of plant out of several thousands of species of plants, and that I, one who committed to his subscription.
Isn't that something? Out of all the plants that Donald Trump could have given him, is this. Now let's learn about this lotus flower.
So what is the important symbolism? The lotus is one of the most occult and ancient symbols of the natural world.
Occult.
And the fact that Donald Trump chose this sculpture, which was entitled Rising Above, is of grave concern. Excuse me.
Let's go back to it. Go back to it. Listen again.
So what is the important symbolism? The lotus is one of the most occult and ancient symbols of the natural world. And the fact that Donald Trump chose this sculpture, which was entitled Rising Above, is of grave concern. The lotus is the flower sacred to the Aryan Hindus, Egyptians, Buddhists, and more. References to it are found in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Jewish mystic religion of Kabbalism, and several other pagan religion texts and sculptures.
Ain't that deep? Ain't that deep? Did Trump know that, what it represents? Here's the lotus flower from the movie I Pet Go.
Remember from our first lessons that Ra is often shown actually coming forth.
See that? This is the lotus flower from Egyptian. Out of that comes the sun god Ra, literally. This is the lotus flower. Out of that comes the sun god Ra. See the snake and the falcon? This is what Trump gave him. And this literally how they felt from Egypt. People, do you think that the Pope, America, Donald Trump are twined? Let me know. It's deep, y'all. I expect a transition. Or yes, I do. Along with Britain. I give it less than 12 months. We'll get back on this one.